Good morning, students. Yesterday, we had a discussion about electric intensity on equatorial line of the dipole. If you remember, electric intensity on equatorial line of the dipole we had got 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 P divided by R cube for short dipole. Soon after that, we had discussion about electric intensity at any point of the dipole, not a specific on a specific line, rather at any location. And there I made use of resolution concept. Dipole moment I resolved. One of the part of the dipole moment, P cos theta, I took on the line on which my point was there. Another component of the dipole moment, P sin theta, was on a perpendicular line on which our point is. And then I dealt as if I have got two independent dipoles there. One of the dipole moment P1, I mean P cos theta, another of dipole moment P2, P sin theta. And with respect to these two dipoles, independent dipoles like, I first understood location of the point with respect to these two dipoles. If you remember, with respect to one dipole, I had a point on axial line. So I wrote E1 equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 2p by 2p 1 by r cube. And with respect to another dipole, if you refer the yesterday's figure once again, with respect to another dipole, you had P2 equal to E2 equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 P2 by R cube. And there some of the children had a doubt. Sir has taken for E1 as a 2P, for E2 he has taken P. Sir has made a mistake. Children, remember, I think you were not focusing properly yesterday. As I told you that, as if I have got two dipoles there. And with respect to those two dipoles, I understood the location of P. On one dipole axial, another dipole equatorial, and accordingly I had written those E1 and E2 value. Okay, understand that properly. So after that, with some mathematical steps, I arrived to the final expression for electric intensity at any point. And what was that? 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 P by R cube under root 3 cos square theta plus 1. This is magnitude. Direction tan alpha equal to half of tan theta. So these all are the things that we have studied in the yesterday's class. Now let me take you ahead in the today's class. Again few more details about, or few more details in connection with dipole. So let me have a situation like this. The situation is, I have got this is the representation of electric field. I'll come to this discussion also soon after this dipole. I'm borrowing this directly. Now timing, you say this is representation of electric field. And those lines whatever I have drawn equidistant and parallel. This is to represent uniform electric field. Hope you all are very much familiar with the word uniform. See, I say this field as a uniform if electric intensity has same magnitude and direction everywhere, at every location. The field to be referred as a uniform electric field. In such a uniform electric field, I am going to have a dipole. I am going to arrange a dipole where? In a uniform electric field. Presently. Even in case of non-uniform we shall discuss. Right now I have got dipole to be placed in a uniform electric field. And here is that dipole which I would like to mention. So this is the dipole which I am going to have. I am placing this dipole, plus charge at the dipole, minus charge at the dipole, and I have arranged this dipole in an electric field in such a way that about dipole, you know, charges are of magnitude q, length is 2l, and dipole moment is equal to, you can write 2qr. So I have this dipole arranged in such a pattern that dipole moment, direction of dipole moment you all are aware of. I have this dipole arranged in such a way that dipole moment is making some angle theta with obviously electric intensity. So I have arranged a dipole in that pattern in the electric field. So now once I do that, after arranging dipole in the field that I have shown, I need to remind you few basic things about a charge placed in electric field. Of course, we have already discussed that, but then I will remind. Say I have got this as a electric field. In this electric field of intensity E, let us say, I have got one charge arranged. See, this is a charge which I am going to keep in the electric field. Remember children, whenever a charge is placed in electric field, it experiences force. Am I true? Yeah. Rather, the definition of electric field was in that way. The space in which charge experiences force. I'm saying in a reverse way, ulta. What did I say? A charge placed in electric field experiences force. And to calculate that force on a charge in electric field, I will take an assistance of equation which I had written while writing the definition of intensity. Electric intensity at any point, if you remember, you have written E equal to F divided by Q. And that's the equation which will guide me to write force on charge particle in the electric field. So whenever I happen to work out force on a charge in electric field, simply I would write the equation F equal to Q into E. Remember, even for competitive exam, you need to take assistance of this. So what's my concept? A charge particle in the electric field experience force. Now when I mention about force, it becomes customary for me, mandatory for me to talk about its direction. And to do so, just I look at this equation. I have F as a vector, I have got E as a vector. That's enough for me to understand about direction. I would see here that F will have same direction as to that of E if charge is positive. If I have this charge as a positive, what's the direction of force on a positive charge in the electric field? I would say positive charge experience force in the direction of electric intensity. Or in the direction of electric field rough way. In fact, field is not quantity, but oftenly we say electric field, E as electric field. Don't catch hold me if I say by mistake. Okay. So force has same direction to that of the electric intensity if the charge is positive. Whereas if the charge is negative, I'll have a negative sign here. These two vectors now, these two sides, they are of equal magnitude Q into E equal to here. If I have a negative sign here of the charge, that would convey me that direction of force is opposite to intensity. When that is bad, if the charge is negative. So let's remember that. Positive charge experience force in the direction of intensity. Negative charge experience force in the direction opposite to intensity. So I need to have this basic information to go ahead there. And in fact, this is already understood. This definition already is been discussed. Only I took assistance of this definition and I brought to your notice that a charged particle in the electric field experience force. Direction of that force depends on nature of charge. If charge on which force you are working out, not the source charge. Direction of force depends on nature of the charge on which force to be worked out. If the charge is positive, it experiences force in the direction of intensity. If charge is negative, it experiences force in the direction opposite to intensity. And that's what I have now to carry forward. I have mentioned that dipole is in the electric field, which is of uniform nature, which simply means that everywhere has got same magnitude and direction. So naturally, by having that information, I can work out the force. See here, dipole basically consists of positive charge and negative charge. And as I brought to your notice, a charge in the electric field experiences force. When I mentioned that dipole is in the electric field, ultimately I can say these two charges are placed in the electric field. And naturally, those two charges are going to experience force. This is not of any difficulty to understand, I think. So what I mean, when you place a dipole in the electric field, each charge of the dipole would experience force. And now first I am interested about force on positive charge of the dipole. Can I work out that? Yes, why not? Force on the positive charge of the dipole, I call it as F1. What is F1? Force on the positive charge. How much do I get? Charge into intensity. Let us say intensity here where I have charge, positive charge as E1. So this is the direction, this is the magnitude of force on a positive charge. How about direction? Just now I reminded you. Positive charge always experience force in the direction of intensity. With this background, it's nothing of any difficulty for me to show the direction of force on positive charge. And here I do that. So this is the direction of force on positive charge. Magnitude already I have got. Look here children. I have shown this direction same to that of intensity. So all these lines, arrows are to show the direction of intensity. So direction of force on positive charge is same. Similarly, I will have also force experienced by the negative charge of the dipole. As the dipole is in electric field, so the negative charge. Then the magnitude of force on the negative charge, I would represent as a F2. Negative charge minus Q it is. Let us say magnitude of intensity here is E2. Into E2 I can write. Look here children, you can see very clearly. F2 has direction opposite to intensity. Even with the help of equation, I am trying to convey that. What is that? Direction of force or negative charge is opposite to intensity. Intensity here I have taken E2. Let me show that direction then. This being negative charge, experience force is the direction opposite to intensity. And here I show that. And remember, I have mentioned already, the field that I have got is uniform. So I mean that everywhere intensity is equal, E1 equal to E2 equal to E3 equal to so many equal to E. So then I need not to write F1 and F2 separately. Rather I can say F1 and F2 are of same magnitude but opposite direction. So what I see is that because of forces on the charges of dipole, I can see there that there are two forces acting on the dipole. This being a dipole, I can see there are two forces. One force is here, another force is here. And to the common experience of everybody, whenever we apply two forces on a body, on a rigid body, if those two forces are oppositely directed and not acting along same line, and if they do not have same line of action, hope you understand line of action, the line along which the vector acts, force acts, line of action of that force or vector you can say. And I can see very clearly that line of action of this force is this one. Line of action of this force is this one. So I was telling you that two forces acting on the body not along same line, and a very common experience of all of us. In a circumstances like this, we see that rigid body undergoing rotational motion. Rigid body undergoing rotational motion, and same is going to happen even in case of this dipole. What I see is that these two forces which are acting on the dipole are not along same line. So naturally they are going to produce a rotatory effect in the dipole. Such rotatory effect produced in any rigid body is accounted in terms of one physical quantity which we call as a torque. So students, let's go ahead to understand about torque on a dipole in the electric field. So as I mentioned, the dipole which is given to me is placed in the electric field, because of which two charges of that dipole have experienced a force, and those two forces on the dipole are in the opposite direction and not acting along same line, because of which there is a torque, and that torque I would like to calculate. So let's go ahead and do work out torque on the dipole. So for that, same figure I would just redraw in other sense. What is that? See here. This line I would draw that. I'll call this as a location A, this as a location B. I'll draw that AB there. So here I have that AB. Alright. This is my A and this is B. Correct? Huh? Right. Then I have this line also. I mean electric field I have. Then that I will show. This dotted line I am trying to represent electric field. And I have mentioned that axis of the dipole or dipole moment is making an angle theta with electric field. I could also see in the figure that there are two forces acting. One force is at B, that I will show here. This is the one force F. Another force is at A. This is that another force at A. That is also F. And now, due to these forces, one acting in this direction, another opposite. So like this it is. In this direction. So what is to happen? It is to rotate. It's to undergo rotatory motion. We'll have a torque on that, and that torque I would like to calculate. Hope still you remember rotational dynamics. How do you calculate torque on any body? Torque on a body represented as a tau is calculated as magnitude of a force, any one force, into perpendicular distance between line of action of forces. Into, for short I write perpendicular distance, complete what I should say, perpendicular distance between line of action of two forces. This is the one force, its line of action. This is another force, line of action. And what is this? Perpendicular distance between those two forces. Now to go ahead with this equation, what do I need? I need force on those two charges. Have I got force on those two charges? Yes. What's the magnitude of force on those two charges? F equal to, I can write QE, magnitude I just if I want to write. How much I have got? F equal to, you can say as a QE. F1 equal to F2 equal to QE I have got. So force anyhow I have got already ready to go ahead with torque. Force I have. What I need? Perpendicular distance between line of action of those two forces. And for that, let me just draw the line of action of this force. Line of action of this force. And between these two lines, what do I need? Perpendicular distance. And here I draw that perpendicular distance. Let me name this as M. May I know, children, now which is the perpendicular distance between line of action of these two forces? I can say BM. So I got the force, I got the perpendicular distance. I'll go ahead then. So I write torque equals to force into perpendicular distance BM. Force I have got, but perpendicular distance I don't have. What I have in there? I know the length AB. Do you? Yes. What is AB? Dipole length. Is it not that the separation between two charges? Yes, it is. It is a separation between two charges. It's a dipole length, 2L. So about AB I don't have any problem. But my need is not AB, I need a BM. So I have to get that. To get that BM, what I do is that, you can agree with me, if this angle is theta, this angle also has to be theta. And once I get to know this, I'll focus on one right angle triangle which I have there. can focus on a right angle triangle which I have there. Which is that right angle triangle? AMB. In triangle. Right angle triangle AMB. Understand? My need is BM. Known is AB. So accordingly, I will think of any trigonometric appropriate ratio which will help me for the task what I have. What is my need? To know BM. So then I shall think of such a trigonometric ratio there in that right angle triangle which includes my requirement and the known term or the known side in that triangle, and that thinking obviously will take me to the choice like opposite and hypotenuse to be there. Naturally, opposite and hypotenuse naturally will go with sine, and so I can take sine of theta in that right angle triangle. Sine theta I would get how much? Opposite side is BM. Hypotenuse is AB. So this gives me the my requirement BM. How much is BM I am getting? AB sin theta. Now have I got BM in terms of known parameter? Yes. Is the AB known? Yes, I do know. How much is AB? 2L. Do you know theta? Yes, I do know. What is theta? Angle made by dipole moment with electric intensity. So I know theta, I know AB. I don't have any problem going ahead with the torque then. So torque I can calculate there now. If I substitute F value and BM here, F value already I have got. How much is F? QE. Correct, huh? And how much is BM? AB sin theta. I'll substitute AB also. QE into 2L sin theta. And as soon as I do that, I get tempted. Whenever I see 2QL, I get tempted to write P dipole moment. And so here I have expression for torque as PE sin theta. Look here children, I have arrived at a very important expression for torque on a dipole. So how much did you get torque on a dipole? PE sin theta. What is P? Dipole moment. What is E? Electric intensity. What is theta? Angle made by P with intensity. And the expression for torque I have here. Now it is nothing difficult to understand you all when the torque can be maximum and when the torque can be minimum. That all is going to get decided by for a given dipole in the given electric field. That all is going to get decided by angle theta. If theta is 0, sin 0 is 0, you get minimum torque. If theta is 0, you get how much torque? 0. Mathematically you can understand. Can you visualize? Qualitatively, quantitatively you can get, qualitatively. See here, theta is 0, what is going to happen? This dipole is going to become parallel to intensity. When it becomes parallel to intensity, you have this force over here. F1 is here, F2 is here, and in that case, children, this is F1, this is F2. So you mean line of action of two forces is one and same. And when you put an effort by applying two forces along same line of action, you never get rotator effect. I think Any of you never ever will try to rotate steering of your car by, let's say this is a wheel, holding like this, you can never do like this. You never apply force like this. I can't, because you know, being a physics student, applying force in this direction, line of action of those two forces will be same, and that's not going to produce a rotatory effect. Rather, what you do, you will hold the steering like this. By one hand you will push up, by another hand you will pull down. See, look here, line of action of this force, line of action of this force, which are not same. And so it produces a rotatory effect. Even same thing happens in case if the theta is 0, line of action of those two forces is one and same. Because of that, no rotatory effect, no torque, and a torque is 0. You can also understand when the torque is going to be maximum. When do you get maximum torque? If theta is 90. Theta 90, anyone? Dipole moment is perpendicular to electric intensity. If the dipole moment, and if it is held like this, is held like this, perpendicular to electric intensity, you get maximum torque experienced by the dipole. So hope I am reaching you all. Okay. Now, one more thing which I would like to bring to your notice is that torque is a vector quantity. And if you remember, what kind of vector do you have as a torque? Torque, I would say, is axial vector. Student, in rotational dynamics, whatever the vector quantities you come across, be it angular velocity, be it torque, be it angular momentum, all these are axial vectors. What I mean by that axial vector? They act along the axis of rotation. And direction of all these axial vectors, right now dealing with torque, axial vector is given by a right hand thumbs up rule. What is that thumbs up rule? Says that you need to hold the axis of rotation in your right hand in such a sense that curling of 4 fingers, say I have curling like this, I'll hold like this, represent the sense of rotation. Then the stretched thumb will give you direction of axial vector, will give you, at present I would say, direction of torque. See here, I have got this dipole rotating like this. How the? This is one force, another force, so naturally that will result into rotating like this. What sense is this rotation? Clockwise. If it rotates clockwise, the axis which I have got, this is, say this is the axis. The axis which I have got, I need to hold like this. Notice, for clockwise rotation I need to hold like this. So in that case then, my thumb is pointing into the plane of paper. If this dipole undergoes rotation clockwise, how is the direction of torque? Into the paper you can see. If I am holding that in a horizontal plane, for clockwise motion, I will say downward, vertically downward. Whereas for anti-clockwise motion, I will say vertically upward. For anti-clockwise motion, vertically upward. So the point is to tell you that torque is a vector and direction of torque is given by right hand rule. It's always along axis. Okay. Now I have a torque as a vector, V as a vector, and also E as a vector. So 3 vectors I have got, and I see that the 2 vectors which I have on the right hand side are accompanied by the sign of angle between them. And whenever I see this kind of situation, what is the situation? Multiplication of 2 vectors is resulting into vector. Such vector vector multiplication we call cross product or vector product. And in vector product, in a cross product, order of product is very important. Order of product is very important. So I mean, my question is, if I wish to write this equation in vector form, should I write P cross E or E cross P? That's very important. ಸರಿ ಯಾವಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಬರೆದ್ಬಿಡ್ರಿಲ್ಲ ಪಿ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಇರೇ ಬರ್ರಿ ಇ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಬಿರೇ ಬರ್ರಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೈದಾಗೆ ಚಾಕ್ ಪೀಸ್ ಪೆನ್ ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೈದಾಗೆ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಯಾವಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಬರೀರಿ ನಾವು. I have to follow the rules of that vector algebra. So then let me think of how should I write. For that I'll visualize like this. ನೋಡಿ, I'll visualize like this. For torque undergoing motion like this. ನೋಡಿ, what kind of motion I have got the dipole undergoing? I'll represent the motion of dipole is like this. Yavadidu clockwise. I want it to show like this. I'm showing like that. Then in that case, the vector torque which I am trying to represent is downward. Is downward into the plane and I have to say that. Dipole moment, electric intensity. What is the direction of electric intensity? This is the direction of electric intensity. You have also got there. What is that? You have got dipole moment also. See, I have a dipole moment there. This is the dipole moment. What is the angle between these two? Angle between these two is theta. And now, to take the order of that product, even I visualize with the help of pen. Nodi, this is my E. Red pen is for P. EP. And this I am going to use for torque. E tarada. This I am using for torque. Correct? Huh? Now I need to hold this as axis in my right hand in such a way that hanga my thumb should point downward because already I have got to know direction of torque downward, let us say. So I have to hold like this then. I have to hold like this. Okay? Then look at the curling that I have got. Curling of my finger is in this way. See how it is directed. Curling is directed from here to here. What is this? Red pen, huh? I mean P it is, I am using for P. This is P, this is E. So when I see towards the curling of my finger, I can very easily see that I should go from P to E. That's enough for me to write that given vector in a vector form, given equation in vector form. And I write vector torque equals to vector P cross vector E, and this is very important. So with the help of simple visualization, I could write this equation in vector form, and this is how we can deal with direction of torque with the help of right hand rule. And this is all about what I have in connection with torque on the dipole. So have a glance over it, note it down. We'll go with the next important concept again in connection with dipole. Okay students, I I think you might have noted it down. Let me go ahead. Okay. So after working torque on a dipole, let us go ahead to visualize the situation like this. And it is again I have uniform electric field. Of intensity of course E. In this uniform electric field, I have a dipole. This is the dipole which I would like to represent. Okay. How the dipole is held in the electric field by making an angle, let me call theta 1. As the dipole is in the electric field, you will have a torque experienced by that dipole because of these forces which we just now spoke about. Dipole will experience a torque. How much is that torque? I can say torque equal to PE sin theta 1. So how much torque did you get? PE sin theta 1 you can say. And now this dipole, which is in the initial position theta 1, I would like to rotate it further. What is theta 1? Angle with respect to E. Now my need is I would like to rotate this dipole to the further position. And say now I wish to have this dipole in the new position. And that new position I would show like this. Look here. Dipole I would like to take to the new position. How is that new position? I would say making an angle theta 1, making an angle theta 2 you can say. Look here. So what is my need? I would like to rotate a dipole from theta 1 position to theta 2 position. So what is my wish? Taking dipole to theta 1 to theta 2. I mean position theta 1 to position theta 2. But only just keeping on wishing dipole should rotate is not going to work out. If you wish that, you will have to work. What is the law of nature? What the physics tells? If you wish something, you should work. What is my wish here? Rotating dipole. I should work then. I should have a work there. So what I mean, in order to rotate a dipole in the electric field, there is to be a work done. And my further discussion is going to be about work done to rotate a dipole. Okay. Now you may answer why work should be done. Naturally, when I place this dipole in the electric field for position theta 1, it is experiencing a torque tau 1, you can say torque tau 1. And now, if I want to go against that, anti-clockwise I want to rotate, let us say. If I want to go against that, to go against anybody, you should spend energy. You should do the work. And that's what is here. When I wish to rotate a dipole against the star, which is there in theta 1 position, I will have to do the work. And children, work done, be it in rotational dynamic or translatory dynamics. Work done is calculated as, in case of rotational dynamic, torque into angular displacement. In linear dynamics, force into displacement, you have said. In the work energy chapter, work energy power chapter, you have done that. Work done equal to force into displacement. But if you remember, in case that involved force is not constant, is a variable. Constant force, if it is there, force into displacement, you can do it very easily, no problem. But if the force involved is variable, what you do? The whole displacement you divide into elementary displacements. What's the benefit of that doing so? Over that small displacement, you will have a variation of force even there also, but that variation can be treated as a negligible and you can use the equation force into displacement. Ali ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? Force into small displacement. You get a small work done there. Such many small work done you calculate, and altogether, if you add those work done, you will get the net work done. Even in the present scenario, I have got that case. In a rotational dynamics, work done, you calculate torque into angular displacement. But the thing is here, I can see very clearly, torque depends on angular position. I mean, theta 1 is the okay. Theta 1 is the okay. If I go slightly ahead, I have another angle. If I go slightly ahead, I have another angle. And if I go slightly ahead, I have another angle. So what I notice is that as I go on progressing while rotating the dipole, I will be experiencing a torque of different magnitude. Because theta 1 will change, theta will change, so the torque, so the applied torque. So I mean that the torque which is involved in this work done is a variable. Then what I do? The whole angular displacement. What is my angular displacement? Theta 1 to theta 2. Whole angular displacement I will divide into small displacements. What's the benefit? Over that small variation of torque I can assume negligible. And then I can work out, I can calculate small work done over small angular displacement d theta. In going from theta 1 position till theta 2, such many d thetas I will have. Such many dWs I will have, and all those dWs I will add together by the technique of integration, and I should tell that from where to start and where to end. Start the addition from the position where you have got angle, position is theta 1. Go until you reach theta 2. During your due course of journey, whatever dWs you come across, you add all of them. That addition will give you, what does that give you? Net angular displacement, net work done over that angular displacement. Let me go ahead then with this procedure. dW already I have got it. How much is dW? Tau into d theta. I think torque also already we have got it. How much is torque? P sin theta in general I can write. So W equals to PE sin theta. This is from theta 1 to theta 2. Substituted value of torque, that's it. And then I will go ahead with the further steps then. What is the further step? I will integrate this. P is constant. Bring that. Let me have one step extra. Doesn't matter. W equal to PE integration sin theta d theta from theta 1 to theta 2. Children, I think integration is not over to you. Just don't break your much more head. D theta, just let us say the answer what I get I'll mention. Once you understand integration, it will be more clear. Okay. So if I integrate sin theta, what I get is cos theta. And I write then W equals to PE, and for your information, integration of sin theta is minus cos theta. So I have got integration of sin theta. I have got, how much is the integration of sin theta? As I mentioned, minus cos theta. So I have written there. Now once I have done that, this is not a final. I will have to substitute limit of integration. Let me substitute. And how do you substitute limit of integration? Upper limit minus lower limit. Upper limit minus lower limit, that is how we go for the substitution of limit. And here I write then W equals to PE upper limit, that is minus cos theta 2 minus lower limit, minus or minus agado plus aguduttada cos theta 1. And this gives me work done to rotate a dipole from one position to another position. I have got given by this relation. Very important relation I have come across now. So whenever I have to deal with work done in the competitive exam to rotate the dipole, I will be following this equation. What is the equation? P is in the bracket cos theta 1 minus cos theta 2. Okay. And once I am done with this, children, remember that whatever such work is done against or by that force or torque, such work done as per work energy theorem, such work done will result into change in mechanical energy. Here the mechanical energy which is going to be definitely involved. There is no kinetic energy, only potential I can say. So I mean whatever work is done to rotate a dipole, that work done will get stored in case of dipole rotated in an electric field. Work done will store as potential energy. Very important. Work done to rotate the dipole will store as potential energy. And for your kind information, whenever a discussion of potential energy comes, we need to decide reference level for the measurement of potential energy. Like say if I am talking about gravitational potential, actually if you ask me the relation for gravitational potential, U equal to minus Gm divided by small r, and if I work out with this relation gravitational potential energy on the surface of Earth, I get minus Gm divided by Gmm divided by r, I write. So I mean on the surface of Earth also I have got a gravitational potential. But for your kind information, whenever you happen to deal with an object on the Earth, you take its potential energy as zero. Why do you take so? Because while talking about gravitational potential energy, you have decided that Earth's surface to be taken as a reference for the measurement. And potential energy of reference level is taken as zero. That's the reason you take potential energy of the Earth as a zero, because that has been chosen as a reference. Same way, when I happen to talk about potential energy of the dipole, which is in fact a work done which is going to get stored there as a potential energy, then while measuring the potential energy of dipole, we decide a reference level, and that is, say, I have this as an electric field which already I have shown there also. Once again I visualize that here. See here, this is my electric field, and in that electric field, this is my dipole I will show. This is the dipole which I am trying to show there. With this as a positive charge, this has a negative charge. So then what is the direction of dipole moment? From negative to positive. And students, this position of dipole, how is the dipole? Perpendicular to the dipole moment. Perpendicular to dipole moment is chosen as reference level for measurement of potential energy. This position of the dipole is chosen as a reference level. Then whenever I use this equation to calculate the potential energy, as I mentioned, work done is going to get stored as a potential energy. So I have got that work done as a potential energy, and which is equals to PE. And remember that now I am going from reference position. I mean initially at reference position I have got dipole. So I mean theta I have got 90. And I am going to rotate that dipole to any another position theta. See, reference position is perpendicular. Theta 1 I am writing 90. And I am going as anywhere, theta 2 is anywhere, theta value. That guides me to write an expression for potential energy, PE cos theta. Very important expression I am writing here. What is this? Expression for potential energy of the dipole. Look here. If theta is 0, any what? Theta 0 andre no? This angle is 0, angle made by the dipole moment with electric intensity is 0. Theta 0, how much potential energy you get? For theta being 0, we get potential energy as a minus PE. ಹೌದಾ? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೈಪೋಲ್ ಹಿಂಗಿದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಡೈಪೋಲ್ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್. For theta 180, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಿಂಗಿದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಹಿಂಗ್ rotate, you are rotating like this. How much is theta in that case? Minus 180. How much is theta? 180. Cos 180 you know. minus 1. So in that case you write a potential energy, you get a potential energy how much? PE. Correct? Idu yoga when I am getting this. Thus I am getting in case of theta being 0. Thus I am getting in case of theta being 180. And you can see that for theta being 90, cos 90 is how much? 0. You get for theta being 90, you get potential energy equal to 0. For theta equal to 90, and that's what I was talking. See, now again you may have questions, sir, are they are tagondre reference bari tagondbitralla conventionally again. My answer is conventionally. You will have a different equation if you take this theta, reference position as a parallel to the dipole or parallel to the intensity, you will have another equation. But conventionally it is decided to have this as a reference position. So in that case I can very easily see potential energy of reference is 0. When the dipole is parallel, you have got minus PE, and this is the minimum potential energy. Where do you have minimum potential energy of the dipole? For theta being 0. Yani you have got this dipole moment parallel to E. Minimum potential energy. Whereas, where do you have got maximum potential energy? For theta being 180. How much is maximum? Plus PE. So remember that. For theta 0 minimum, for theta 180 maximum potential energy. And students remember, potential energy has a vital role to play about stability. Remember, it's law of universe. Whoever has got less potential energy, stability is more. Less the potential energy, stability is more. So if I ask you then, where do you have that dipole as a more stable? Even of stability can be of two types. Stable equilibrium, unstable equilibrium. Okay, I am talking about stability. Where the stability is more for dipole with the minimum potential energy. Where the stability is more, where the stability is less, when the dipole is making 180 degree. So this is to be understood and remembered properly. And this is all about what we have got is about work done on a dipole. That work done, as I mentioned, is going to get stored as a potential energy, bit about which I have just had a discussion. So tomorrow I'll be going with one interesting and very important concept from this chapter. In order to understand electric field in better way, we happen to introduce a concept called electric force lines. So about electric force lines we shall discuss in the tomorrow's class. So till then, goodbye.